Every year, this penguin swims thousands of miles just to see his best friend, a human. But why? I mean, what in the biology and romance is going on here? Well, to answer this question, we have to rewind all the way back to May of 2011. João didn't expect anything unusual on his morning walk that day. He was 71, retired, and living the kind of life most people dream of. Yes, João lived on a little house by the sea, passing quiet days on an island off the coast of Brazil. Overall, he was basically living a permanent beach staycation, which sounds pretty nice. I mean, sign me up. But then he saw it. A lump in the sand. Small, still, and soaked in black oil. It looked more like garbage than anything alive, but as João stepped closer, the lump blinked. It was a penguin. And not just any penguin, but a Magellanic penguin, a species that normally lives thousands of miles south near the icy coasts of Patagonia. So what was it doing here on a warm Brazilian beach? Well, we will answer that when we go into the science behind their bond, but for now, we have to finish the beautiful story. João could have just walked away, but something in him said no. So he picked the penguin up, took him home, and named him Jing Jing. And I probably would have done the same thing. For over a week, João cleaned Jing Jing's oily feathers off in the shower and fed him fish to help regain his strength. And one day at a time, João coaxed this little tiny penguin back to life. Slowly, Jing Jing started to move again. He flapped, he waddled, he stole João's heart, and wouldn't you know, João stole his. In an interview, João said, "I love the penguin like it's my own child, and I believe the penguin loves me." He also said that no one else is allowed to touch Jing Jing, and if they try, Jing Jing will peck at them, which I found hilarious. He lays on my lap, lets me give him showers, and allows me to feed him sardines and to pick him up. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like quite the bond to me. But João knew that no matter how attached they'd become, Jing Jing didn't belong in a backyard. So one morning, with a heavy heart, João walked him down to the ocean and let him go. Except instead of swimming off into the distance ceremoniously, Jing Jing looked at João with a rather annoyed expression and waddled right back up to his friend, because he wasn't ready to go yet. Jing Jing ended up staying with João for 11 months, long enough to grow a fresh new coat of feathers. And when he did finally leave, make no mistake, it was on his own terms. Jing Jing disappeared into the ocean, and João knew that their final goodbye had come at last. Except, spoiler, this was actually just another fake out. Weeks passed, then months, and João began to move on with the familiar rhythm of island life. He figured Jing Jing had done what wild animals are supposed to do. He'd returned to his kind, maybe even found a mate, and probably even told all of his penguin friends about the really tall penguin in Brazil that had a bottomless stash of sardines. But then, nearly a year later, just as summer rolled back around in Brazil, there he was, the same beach, the same penguin, and the same adorable little waddle. Jing Jing had swam over 3,000 miles to get here. He had come back like a tuxedoed boomerang. No GPS, no social media, just pure memory and instinct. From that point on, it became tradition. Around June, Jing Jing would show up, hang around for a casual 8 months, and then leave again. This means that Jing Jing spent the majority of his time with João instead of other penguins, which is very interesting. And if you're wondering how rare this is, the answer is very. So let's explore what's going on here in this one-of-a-kind human-penguin friendship. Alright, the time has come to answer some very big questions, and the first question for us to answer is, what was a Magellanic penguin doing all the way in Brazil, covered in oil? Magellanic penguins, like Jing Jing, usually stick to the southern tip of South America, Patagonia, Argentina, Chile, where there's penguin weather. But every year they migrate north during the winter, swimming thousands of miles to find food in warmer waters. Most of the time, they turn around somewhere near Uruguay, but sometimes a few of them keep going. Every now and then, a strong northbound current scoops up a penguin or two and drifts them a little too far north. So that answers the location, but now what about the oil? Well, the exact source of the oil on Jing Jing was never confirmed, but most likely it came from a passing ship. Along the South American coast, it's not uncommon for vessels to illegally discharge oily waste into the ocean while at sea. These slicks can stretch for miles, and even a small amount of oil is enough to seriously harm a penguin. It also could have been an accidental spill from an oil tanker. Oil is bad news for penguins. It coats their feathers, ruins their waterproofing, and makes it hard for them to stay warm or float. And since penguins constantly groom themselves, they often ingest the oil too, which can damage their internal organs. This kind of pollution is one of the leading causes of Magellanic penguins ending up on the coasts of Brazil. And unfortunately, most that this happens to don't make it. But thanks to his new friend, Jing Jing did, and he didn't just make it, he thrived and formed a lasting friendship. As we know, João didn't just save Jing Jing, rather the two became inseparable. So what is going on here? Well, it turns out the answer lies at the intersection of biology, behavioral science, and just a little bit of mystery and magic. First, let's clear something up, because people often say that Jing Jing imprinted on João, but unfortunately this just isn't true. Imprinting only happens during a short window of time when a bird is still a chick, usually within the first couple days of life. Jing Jing was already a juvenile or maybe even young adult when he showed up in Brazil. In other words, the imprinting ship had sailed. Instead, scientists believe that he formed a strong social bond, something we've seen in other intelligent animals that undergo rescue or trauma. João fed him, cared for him, protected him day to day. And through this repetition and positive interaction, Jing Jing likely learned to associate João with safety, food, and comfort. João had rescued Jing Jing at his most vulnerable, starving, weakened, and on the edge of life. But he fed him, cleaned him, and protected him. And Jing Jing responded by forming a lasting attachment. Second, Magellanic penguins are known for two main things: their sense of loyalty and their sense of direction. In the wild, they return to the same nesting beach year after year, often pairing with the same mate, reusing the same burrow and recognizing one another by voice and scent. To do this, they rely on a combination of advanced tools: Earth's magnetic field, celestial cues, ocean currents, and even scent trails and visual landmarks. Yes, I said that correctly. Many birds are able to tap into Earth's magnetic field in order to navigate. We actually are just beginning to understand how it is that many birds make these incredibly long journeys. But okay, I'll calm down. The story's about a penguin and an old man, but I'm getting excited about science. Needless to say, when Jing Jing kept returning to João's beach, it wasn't magic. In fact, his brain was built for this. He was returning to the place that he associated with safety and recovery. Now, can Jing Jing's annual return be explained by instinct alone? Probably not. Most likely there is at least one more layer to this. The consistency of his visits, the way he defended João's yard from strangers, and the time he spent nestled in João's lap all suggest something deeper than simple conditioning. This wasn't just learned behavior, it was a bond. In other words, science can explain how he got there, it can explain why he returned, but as for the why behind his devotion, well, that part lives somewhere between biology and what we call love and friendship. But as we know all too well, all good things eventually come to an end. João was seen standing at the edge of the beach, calling for Jing Jing. He told the waves that his friends were watching, that the sardines were ready, but that year the beach stayed quiet, and Jing Jing never came, and so marked the end of their time together. At this point, Jing Jing would have been around 10 or 12 years old, which isn't a senior yet for a Magellanic penguin, but certainly old enough to be mature and carrying on his own life beyond João's beach. Maybe he returned to Patagonia, found a mate, and raised a family of little tuxedoed, sardine-loving adventurers. Or maybe his final swim was just that, his last. We don't have all the answers, but it is stories like this that remind us to keep listening to the wild. Ears up, eyes open, and curiosity on, because some of the most remarkable discoveries in life don't come from a scientific lab. Instead, they come waddling right up on the beach. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so that I can see you in the next one.